So for God's sake, someone please tell me what the hell was SmackDown like? It's nice enough for Apollo to finally get a character over the last 5 years of doing absolutely nothing. Nobody really cared that he won the U.S. title. They finally actually trying to give him an interesting persona involving his actual Nigerian heritage. I don't really care already. Like, we already know that Otis is not going to stay well as a heel. He doesn't have that much of a dislikability factor, even though he's a fat neck beard that does splashes all the time. Roman Reigns wasted enough time revolting around the main event scene with Daniel Bryan cutting him off over the middle of his promo, talking about his road trying to get a rematch, and he's complaining about, oh, you signed up for this. You know Roman Reigns was gonna pull the strings and get himself an easier alternative in the Elimination Chamber, so he has a lower risk of being a world champion, of losing the world title. And then they're trying to push over possibly a three-way or something. They take it like, we haven't seen Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns on Fastlane before, even though that happened like in 2015. And Fastlane is like one of the worst pay-per-views next to Battleground. You get 1 to 2 decent matches. There's barely any overarching storylines that revolve around the card. And it's just like a secondary pay-per-view to just boost up what's going to happen come WrestleMania. And we're about to and this is the third pay-per-view, and just to spin until April. Like, why? We barely even have that much of a certified WrestleMania card, and people's asking for a day 1 and day 2. My guy, I just want to know what's going to be even the first 3 matches of the pay-per-view other than what happened in the Rumble. It's that agitating that makes me feel more disinterested and possibly the most, biggest part of WWE's calendar year. And that's obviously January to April. That's Mania season. You're telling me they still have that much of a lackluster, threat over for the World Championship? Because we know that Daniel Bryan's going to possibly have this forceful underdog garbage. Just like Kevin Owens had over the span of 3 months, and consistently lost one-on-one matches with Roman. And then we just had repeat matches over the span of the show. Like, I don't really give a damn that I get to see, all because it was a DQ finish and you wanted to overly push. There's already so many heel tag teams. And one of the tag team champions are heel. There's not that much of an intensified threat. Then King Corbin and Sami Zayn had to be a tag team. We got to see Dominic and Rey face off against Otis and Gable just like last week. Then we had what we had over the last few months, and that's Jey Uso versus Jey Uso and frickin' Daniel Bryan at the main event again. And then we get the Riot Squad versus a match involving Tamina and Natalya. So it's like no variety in the show. I like SmackDown. I don't mind some of the stars. I don't mind, but the repetibility is going to make people lose interest on trying to actually watch the show, especially if you're not changing much stuff up or making any interesting gimmick matches to actually have any, pull to actually see these guys wrestle again. Or possibly, just don't let them wrestle every freaking week. It ended with Jey Uso and Roman jumping on Daniel Bryan after the promo. Then we had, of course, a vignette involving what happened with Apollo Crews assaulting and then tossing the steel steps on Big E. Obviously shifting over to his heel turn, trying with this ridiculous fake African accent that he tried. I'll give him that. He's trying. At least he looks like a wrestler. Now he has a gimmick that he's not that it doesn't feel that he's that into, and it just doesn't look that convincing because he doesn't have that much of an anime personality. So it just doesn't feel that over the top. So that's just my opinion on the matter. I don't hate Apollo Crews' new character shift. He got to face off against Nakamura. The match was okay. He showed off cool gorilla presses. I don't think he was trying to do that many flips. He's actually trying to restrict a bit more of his freaking moveset. I was like, sign Prince Nana, give him a decent manager, like give him like an ambassador, let him be a pompous dick and let him win the IC belt. Then that's actual heel work. That's building up over a character. We barely have that many interesting over-the-top characters, and that's what WWE has been missing over the span of a decade and a half. Guys that actually have personas, over-the-top characters, and get over off the crowd are going to be a lot more than just being a good wrestler. That's what makes Elias more special than like most of the roster. There was some dives, a sliding German suplex. Apollo wins off grabbing the shaft and pulling his opponent to the turnbuckle and hitting him for some kind of modified angle slam. The match was okay. Then we had Dominic and Ray facing up against Otis and Gable. The match was forgettable. I mean, we had counters over from the 619. Dominic was nearly getting momentum. Then Gable would try to cheat his way to get the advantage. Otis would come with his little slam over in the corner. I don't think he was doing the caterpillar. I think he still did the caterpillar for some apparent reason. Even though that's like Scotty 2 Hottie still doing the worm is too cool with turning heel. Like, why do a move that's supposedly supposed to get you over? And you're supposed to be doing that, and you're not supposed to do that to conduct heat. Like, that's my opinion on the matter. Don't do something that the fans should chant to. It should be a move that the fans don't want to see the babyface go through, because they know it's going to be a dangerous move that they're possibly going to kick out of. That's just my opinion in the matter. It's going to make the heel look more menacing, but I can't take Otis as menacing as any dynamic heel, because the guy was literally like chasing Mandy Rose over this band, and there was not that much of a realistic twist into most of this. I just don't get it. I don't mind Gable and Otis being a tag team, but this just felt forced, and I just don't care. I think they already like shafted out the storyline involving him and King Corbin, so now it's like probably just the boring 50-50 booking involving Ray, Dominic, and whatever Otis and Chad are gonna do. We already have like a minimal tag division to begin with. Don't get me freaking started. We kept getting backstage segments also involving Edge and what's going on with the major target of Roman versus him at Mania, revolting around Daniel Bryan that possibly, well, if I beat Roman, it's up to you. Like, come on, man. That does not sound that threatening. I swear, nobody wants to see Daniel Bryan versus Edge. Possibly some fans, but that's like a C-level pay-per-view, and we're trying to do this to at least try to book like something that the fans shouldn't need to see, because not that many no fans or barely any are going to be in attendance. So I just feel like this is just not going to do much. It's better than what happened last week when Edge was like, oh, you're possibly going to face me at Mania. You're possibly going to face me at Mania. None of you guys are going to face me at Mania. I don't really care. And Daniel Bryan's with this whiny little personification that he earns a shot because he had the highest he had the lowest chances of winning the Universal title after winning the Chamber match. I wouldn't hear Cesaro complaining if he won. And they're trying to do overly the singles push, so he's going to be in this program with Rollins. Rollins is still with the Messiah gimmick, but he comes off with the Burn It Down gimmick that the fans chant the Burn It Down part of the song. And like, what? Why? Give him the song if he's still doing the Messiah gimmick. That makes no sense. It's like Devon tagging with Bubba still, but whenever Devon comes along, he's still with his Reverend Devon song. Please look it up. That was a good ass song. Don't at me at that, bro. That song was actually pretty good. But it's just so weak, man. I don't understand. And especially over they're transitioning still into a match. I don't get it. I feel like it's just dumb. What else we had? We of course had Liv Morgan versus Tamina 1-on-1 for some apparent reason. Because of some crap program revolting around Billy Kay still costing them matches. A bit of a distraction. It was a slow-paced schlock match. I don't care about the little welcoming committee tag team because there's barely any story revolting around this garbage. So I'm just seeing a random women's match that I possibly don't want to watch. I'm just not that compelled, man. She hits over the Samoan drop to get the victory. Michael Cole and Corey Graves applaud the good job that Natalya has done in rejuvenating her. Oh my god. Is this because of the crap that she did on Twitter? So garbage, bro. So garbage. At least they're trying to do something to make these jobbers actually be relevant over in the women's division. So why aren't they... So over the span of beating these chicks for the last several weeks, why don't they target for the women's tag team belts? Like, there's no parity or, like, any ambition over in this women's division. Oh, no, these strong women. No one cares. You guys primarily get the lowest ratings over in the segments because they have no personas for you, and you got no character, you got no definable looks, and most people just want the attractive ones anyway. So why don't they just revolve more around the belts? And I don't understand. I don't care about the Charlotte thing. I don't care about what Nia Jax and Shayna do. It's just not that interesting, man. I want them to end the stupid brand split so I don't have to see the same matches again. And doing the draft won't fix anything. You guys can call me as pessimistic as possible with Natalya trying to be this rip-off Alana, Tamina trying to make herself a monster for like possibly a month or two before she jobs out to possibly Bianca Belair or Sasha Banks again. You see how inconsistent it's going to be? It's not the first time they try to pull over this Natalya heel persona and she turns into a jobber just a couple months later. Bianca Belair's choice. While she tried to decide, Reginald came up to sway her, saying Sasha, like now he's hyping up more Sasha Banks and being more around her. Like, are they trying to tease like a crush or more of a respect for Sasha Banks than Carmella? Carmella didn't even come up to like own her stakes up to have a match at WrestleMania or something. I just felt like this was just ridiculous. I like Reginald, but he's like small in doses. We also had the Street Profits face off against Sami Zayn and King Corbin. King Corbin's cancer patient-looking ass. And the only reason why they're tagging because Sami Zayn thought there was chemistry in their match that they had last week when they were qualifying for the Elimination Chamber. Okay, that's an average reason, I guess, but it's just a reason to keep Corbin on television. That's technically my opinion on it, because I don't really care about Corbin. I don't understand why they keep bringing it up. He's a Golden Glove winner, but he's not a brawler per se. He's not a striker, and primarily of his offense doesn't require much of his fist. And he always loses anyway, so he's just a jobber. And he just looks so casual. At least Sami Zayn can at least is dislikable and he can talk. So there's at least something that I can utilize over with Sami Zayn that's supposed to be with this conspiracy theorist SJW documentary gimmick that I don't mind, and at least it ain't him just being happy to be there being a wrestler. So at least I can get that. The Street Profits just come back after Montez Ford was nursing his injury over a month. It was hot tag, exploder suplex, crossbody, tope con hello, Dawkins with that spin out little clothesline he always does. It ends with the frog splash. So just the nuanced heel tag team That didn't even though Sami Zayn cheats to win singles matches, he couldn't even parlay the rest against a babyface tag team. I don't understand. Where is Rude and Ziggler? After they literally asked to be in the title shot for the Elimination Chamber match and then nothing else happened. Like, they're not coalition around storylines revolting around getting higher up in the card or getting more championships. And that's so dumb. Why aren't there more wrestlers trying to peek over for more segments? I don't get it. We had like 2 segments involving Edge over who's talking to who now, and just nothing else. Kalisto's barely on SmackDown. I mean, the only person benefiting around SmackDown is Bo Dallas because he doesn't even have to wrestle, and now he's hooked up with Liv Morgan. I don't really give a damn about anything else going around the show other than Roman Reigns, I guess, because he's the only star there. Cesaro comes around rejecting Rollins' offer again. Gave him some decent points about why are you still trying to grab that grass ring with so much strength and potential. How are you not a champion? So I guess they're trying to force around him winning, not being successful. So they're gonna try to bring this short-lived feud that I guess is gonna be a good match because these guys are gonna have good matches. But still, I just felt like it's gonna be worthless. I'm not really that compelled. They swung him, but it could have been funnier if he still kept holding the mic to ask him to let go, but he got dizzy and dropped it. That could have been funny. But, no, that's kind of it. I don't think he even put him on the sharpshooter, so it looks like we're going to have this program involving Rollins and Cesaro. It at least is going to give Cesaro something to do after he literally pinned Daniel Bryan clean. Twice. So how come he doesn't get a future shot for the world title? Or, we actually have more contender matches. We don't have that many gimmick matches anyway, so it just makes the matches like, oh, one-on-one match. Sorry, I'm just complaining at this point. So Bryan versus Jey Uso. It's the same match like we always seen it. Targeting over the back knee. Decent maneuvers. Counters over with a super kick. These guys always have decent chemistry with each other. And the match was nearly going to Daniel Bryan's favor after he finally caught him with a second yes lock. Roman Reigns takes the DQ finish. With Roman Reigns shouting over Jey Uso like he couldn't get the job done. So I don't know what's going to happen. So thanks to the DQ, Roman Reigns will face Daniel Bryan, but it's just in so unconvincing fashion. Like, how is that going to make Daniel Bryan seem like more of a threat? Even though Jey Uso always loses in the main event anyway. It's just this type of booking that's going to make SmackDown a bit worse. I don't like the way they ended it here. But that's just my opinion on the matter. If you guys enjoyed SmackDown, I'm happy that you had a great day, a great night actually enjoying the show. But for me, I just felt like this could have been real better if they just did more overarching stuff and actually were pushing the right guys. But I just don't feel like this is it. We know that Daniel Bryan's going to lose come Fastlane, but at least do more to compel us. Because this guy has a Hall of Fame resume, and he's beaten big dudes before, so I don't understand why is he treating himself more like a badass or something. Because they already took away his green gimmick, and now he's back to just being forceful underdog even though you have this much in your resume. I don't get it. But that's just my opinion on the matter. That's it coming from me. Like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully you guys enjoy the review. Have a nice day.